James works it out. James is a bright red engine. He always likes to look his best, to do his best, and to show the other engines he knows best too. It was winter on the island of Sobor. Thomas, Stanley, and James were working at the yards. They were shunting trains to take to Great Waterton. They had to arrive on time. Stanley watched James shunting his freight cars. They wiggled and giggled. James quickly biffed and bashed his cars into line.
You're the best biffer I've ever seen.
Oh, that was nothing. See how easily I can shunt heavy Hector. James collected Hector. Stanley watched as James shunted Hector to the back of his train. Snow started to fall. I'm ready to leave. I'll see you both at Great Waterton. It's starting to snow, James. You should check the weather with the yard manager. James didn't want to be told what to do by a freight car, especially in front of Thomas and Stanley. I'll decide what we do. The weather doesn't bother me. So James buffered up to his train and steamed slowly out of the yards. James puffed through the countryside. The snow was getting heavier. James stopped at a signal. Harold swooshed in.
There's bad weather all over the island. It's very hard to see the tracks.
Then, James, we better go to Henry's tunnel. James sniffed. He didn't want to be told what to do by a freight car, especially in front of Harold. I'll decide what we do. We'll take the track through Shen Valley. It's the quickest way. The signal changed, and James puffed away, pushing his train. James arrived at the Shen Valley Junction. Now, the snow was very thick. It made it hard for James to see ahead. James puffed onto the wrong track. James thought he was steaming through Shen Valley, but he wasn't. He was steaming towards the snowy hills. James saw Edward in a siding. He was wearing his snowplow. The ice has made the line ahead very slippery. It will be hard to shunt your train up the hill. James was surprised he was in the hills. I must have taken the wrong track, he thought. I've had to clear snow from lots of lines. James was worried. We need Edward's help. He could couple up to the front of the train. But James didn't want to be told what to do by a freight car, especially in front of Edward. I'll decide what we do. I can manage on my own. So James puffed slowly towards the hill. James huffed and puffed. He steamed and strained. His face was now as red as his boiler. James arrived at the top of the hill. He was very pleased. Now I can puff fast down the other side, he thought. Then there was trouble. Hector could see a snowslide had blocked the line. Hector knew that if James slowed down at the bottom, they would get stuck in the drift. Onwards, onwards! Don't slow down, James! But James didn't want to be told what to do, especially by a freight car. I'll decide what we do, he huffed to himself. So James applied his brakes. The train smashed into the snow, and it stuck. James couldn't make his delivery. He felt very bad.
James is silly. James is slow. James has got us stuck in the snow.
James wished he had checked with the yard manager about the weather. He wished he hadn't tried to find his way through Shen Valley. And he wished he had asked Edward to be his front engine. Now I know Hector was trying to help me. The freight cars giggled. Quiet! Please, Hector. How can I deliver my train on time? Hector was happy to help. I'm a very heavy freight car. We must race down the hill at full speed. Then we will biff the train right through the snow. What a good idea. So Hector was uncoupled from the train. James wished and wished. At last, he had hauled Hector back to the top of the hill. Okay, James, go! Hector and James raced faster and faster down the hill. There was a mighty biff, and Hector pushed the train right through the snow. We did it, Hector! Well done! Hector was pleased. Stanley and Thomas were already at Great Waterton. James, Hector, and the train arrived. You made it!
We were worried.
I wasn't worried. Hector helped me all the way. Stanley and Thomas looked surprised. You can always rely on a good freight car. Hector was happy to have helped. And James was happy to have a new friend.